And go.
Hello and welcome to the weekly wrap with the USA Liberalists. Tonight, your hosts are me, Cody, and Jordan.
You.
All right, we got a few different stories to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about the UK ambassador resigning, over some leaked emails. We're going to also talk about Facebook's brand spanking new rules, which they took down the day after they posted them because they allow you to call for violence as long as it's against the right people.
Well, I mean, that seems reasonable.
And then we're also going to talk about
Pedo Man.
Quite frankly, a story I think that's kind of a non-story, but everyone's talking about it as if it's a big story. Epstein. What's his name? Jeff Epstein or something like that.
Well, yeah.
Pedo Man. Just call him Pedo Man. That's great. Like, that's what we're going to call him from now on.
I mean, I don't like saying the names of criminals, so I'm okay with Pedo Man.
Well, he's alleged Pedo Man, I guess.
I'm sorry. Alleged Pedo Man #1.
There you go. That's better. We have integrity to maintain.
Well, I mean, just in case there's a pedo man that comes along down the line, I need to make room, so he's pedo man #1.
He's King Pedo Man, apparently.
He's the king pedo.
But we'll talk about that a little bit. It's a little harsh to get right into that. So we're going to start with Facebook.
Hell yeah.
Did you actually read the rules that they posted?
No, I generally ignore whatever Facebook does. Honestly, because my circle on Facebook is pretty insular, so I don't know. It just whatever Facebook does just doesn't seem to affect us for the most part.
Yeah, we don't really have. I mean, I'm on Facebook a lot, but I've never been blocked or banned or anything, and I've never had a huge problem with Facebook personally.
I have a feeling most of their rules just end up applying to either. I have a feeling it mostly applies to someone that gets a little too much attention, and then Facebook's like, nah, shut it down. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're curating content in a way I don't like, but who knows if my posts are ever going out. But anyway, they updated their community standards to allow threats and incitement to violence against people deemed, quote, dangerous individuals.
Oh, shit.
So
not
the statement.
Individuals. I assume we're talking about ISIS, right?
Well, the statement says it's part of their. It's in the story there, but it's part of their policy on. Oh, what is it? I forget what it is. It's a policy. It's part of their policy on like harassment or something. I forget.
That sounds
Threats.
like them, yeah.
And
applies to terrorist activity, organized hate, mass or serial murder, human trafficking, and organized violence or criminal activity. Okay. Yeah, most of those sound pretty straightforward, except for the organized hate one, like the article says already. But yeah.
Yeah, it says if you go look at the text of the community guide standards or whatever they're called, the community standards, it says that you're not to post or produce, things such as calls for high severity violence or statements advocating high severity violence. But they add a little caveat in there. They say, quote, unless the target is an organization or individual covered in the dangerous individuals and organization policy.
So organized hate. So just to clarify what we're saying, no crimes for the most part, no organized hate unless we determine that they are allowed to be hated.
Yeah, basically,
okay.
They have a list that says these are the people that's okay to threaten and harass and call for violence.
Okay, so who did we actually? I mean, if we're going with the usual bog standard list, although I don't think this happened this time. So white men, especially straight men, fuck those guys.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Fuck straight men. Fuck them. Fuck them right in their straight little asses. Um,
Look, all I'm saying is I got my concealed carry permit, so I'm
well,
living large.
how very homophobic of you. How very homophobic of you. Um,
That's right.
no, that's I disavow. No shooting
Yeah,
gay
me
people.
too.
No shooting gay
No,
people.
don't do that.
Bad. Yeah, who actually was on this list?
People like Alex Jones, Laura Loomer, I think Paul Joseph Watson, I believe Candace Owens,
Swear to God, they've got such
and
a hard on for Jones.
Brigitte Gabriel. And I was reading one article that also mentioned
Who's
Louis Farrakhan. So
who's Brigitte Gabriel?
she's she lives in America, but she grew up in Lebanon, and she
Okay.
was a Christian in Lebanon and survived because essentially Christians got murdered in Lebanon when she was a
Sounds
kid.
like
So
Lebanon, yeah.
she had to live like hide out in the basement for like a month. And
Just
she's come to the U.S. and now she's kind of in the same camp as Ayan Hirsi Ali. Do you know who that is?
yes, I'm familiar with Aon.
She's kind of in that camp where she's an advocate against. I don't want to say she's an advocate against Islam because I don't think that's how she describes herself. But she opposes like radical Islam, and
Sounds like she'd be like more in the reformer camp.
well, she's Christian,
Well, I mean,
so
yes, but I don't think not being Muslim precludes you from advocating for reform Islam. Like I don't think if I
true.
went to one of Imam Tweedi's, I don't know, does he hold rallies? He should. Um,
Maybe he gives speeches.
yeah, because the guy's like actually pretty popular. Like in pretty much anything that isn't far left circles, Imam Tweedi seems like a pretty popular guy. Um,
He seems pretty cool to me. I mean,
well, yeah, he always seems to have a pretty balanced take on pretty much everything. So yeah, he just sort of calls it like he sees it.
she she has a group. Hold on, let me look. She was on Dave Rubin's show a couple times,
Was she?
so
I don't
that's
watch enough Dave
how I
Rubin.
know.
It's not even that I don't like Dave Rubin. It's more just it. Unless the guest themselves is interesting, I don't know. It's just hard for me to watch interview shows.
Well, yeah, I don't watch all of his shows, but when I do, he has a guest that I'm interested in, I
Oh yeah,
will start watching it, and when I start watching it, I get hooked. If once you watch it, you're like, "Oh, this is interesting," but it's kind of sometimes you're like, well, "I don't really know who this guy is," or "I really don't care much
I gotta admit,
to talk into this."
I'd usually just rather watch Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Joe Rogan's great too.
It's kind of
So
it's just every.
Brigitte,
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say that pretty much like every time, especially I don't know if you saw the episode where Shapiro was on there with Joe Rogan.
yes, I
Oh my
did.
god, Joe Rogan like just forcing Shapiro to talk about fucking DMT and weed for so long.
He loves that topic, man. I don't know what it is.
Man, it's a mystery, isn't it? I can't imagine what his fascination with these things is. Oh
Well,
man,
so
it's so funny.
Brigitte
Sorry, go ahead.
Brigitte Gabriel, she's an American. She's American Lebanese,
Okay.
and she has a an activist group, or no, that's not right. It's called Act for America, ACT.
Hmm.
And I was actually looking into it because I wanted to join this group,
Sure.
but I don't have the money.
Oh, it costs money to get in. Oh shit.
I think it's like you have to have a membership fee or something like that.
Oh, gotcha. What is it, like a yearly fee or monthly or
I
what?
don't know what ACT is an acronym. It stands for something.
Yeah, it's that stupid test they made me take in high school.
No.
Yeah, the ACTs. I remember that. Fucking
SAT.
stupid. No, there's ACTs too. I think that's just a Texas thing, though. Honestly. Or no, wait, it got replaced by STAR, didn't it? Sorry, I'm literally just talking about Texas.
I have no idea. Texas is awesome, so go ahead, talk about Texas. Yeah, I was looking into this because she gives speeches, and it says act for America's mission is to educate, engage, train, and mobilize citizens and elected officials to impact legislative outcomes and ensure the safety and security of Americans against all threats, foreign and domestic, while preserving civil liberties guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution. Okay. Sounds freaking awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were reading off something from Facebook for a second, and I was like, wait, what?
I can give you the link to this website.
I was about to be real impressed with Facebook as you were reading that off. I was like, okay, Facebook, maybe there is something worth salvaging here. All right.
No, I just Googled it. I just Googled Brigitte.
Yeah, while you were doing that, I'm mostly just reading through this article. See, so no hate bongs. All right. No hateful ideologies. Designated hate entities, but definitely no hate bongs. None of that.
Right. No paraphernalia.
There will be no hate pipes, no hate bongs, no hate joints. None of it. God forbid you have a hate roller.
I wonder how they would feel on like a discussion group. Like if you had a book club or something and you read some book, Mein Kampf or something, and you were talking about that, would you get banned for that?
It depends. Are you doing German dabs or not?
Maybe your book club would become a dangerous dangerous organization.
It's not dangerous until the Germans start dabbing. That's how you know.
Oh, okay. Got it.
There can be no German dabs while you're reading Mein Kampf.
Yeah, so paragraph 3 in the article says what a dangerous individual organization entails. And we talked a little bit about that, but I believe they took the policy down the very next day because the outcry was so, like, Paul Joseph Watson wrote about it. Tim Pool made a couple videos about it. I think maybe Sargon made a video about it or something like that. So,
did he? Man, I don't watch any Sargon anymore. Damn, I really miss I miss when he just dunked on feminists.
He focuses a lot more now on British politics.
I get it, but I miss his old videos where he's just taking like the lowest rung and just absolutely dunking it.
Like the This Week in Stupid stuff. Yeah. I kind of miss that.
Well, it was just fun. It was like a more lighthearted take on it.
Yeah, it was just an easy video to listen to while you're doing something else or
exactly.
Stuff. But it's weird to think, like, if I want to try to give Facebook the benefit of the doubt, because people do say things like, oh, I'd shoot that pedophile, or they're empty threats. Everyone knows they're empty threats, that they're not actually going to hunt down and shoot the pedophile.
I mean, it wouldn't be totally outlandish.
Well, they may want
that has
to,
happened.
They're not going to.
That has happened where there have been pedo hunters.
Well, if it was my child.
No, well, I mean, yeah, obviously, but
not be.
I mean, yeah, obviously, but like, no, I mean, there was a good, solid collection of dudes that were like they were pedo hunters. That's what they did. And yeah, it was like being a bounty hunter, but for pedos and lethal.
Wow.
So yeah,
Texas kicks ass.
I don't even know if that was in Texas. I'm not actually sure where it was, but it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if it was Texas.
Right, you know what I'm saying. Like if somebody did something stupid like if somebody broke into a house or something,
Hmm.
or they started breaking, like you see in the riots, they break windows and people are like, I'd shoot those motherfuckers if they broke my shop window. They just say
We actually would here.
stupid stuff like that.
Oh, I dare people, because it's like, I think the first time it happened, no one would get shot, because everybody would just be like in shock that it actually happened, because everybody sort of uses the guns as like a giant porcupine strategy for the most part, because everybody knows that if everybody feels like there's just guns pointing at you, nobody's gonna do shit. So when it actually does happen, everyone's just like, wait, we actually have to, really? Seriously? So,
Yeah,
so nothing happens
Keep
the first
one in
time.
Keep one in the chamber, dude.
Nothing happens. No, do not keep one in the chamber. Jesus.
Why not?
Oh, all right. You feel free to shoot your dick off.
The safety's on. I don't keep my gun near my dick.
Do not keep one in the chamber. Oh man, there have been so many accidents with safeties. I remember one story about a dude that was like trying to show off his like gun safety knowledge, put the gun up to his head, blew his brains out.
Well, he clearly was not versed in gun safety.
Oh my, he was an instructor.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad instructor.
Okay.
Or maybe a great instructor, because I'm sure
Christ.
the people he was teaching.
He was showing his
that.
girlfriend. He was showing his girlfriend.
Yeah, she will be super
scarred
safe
for
around
life.
guns for the rest
don't
of
worry.
her life.
She's scarred for life. Don't worry. She's got it. So she knows, as all of you should know, except for Cody, don't keep one in the fucking chamber.
I heard somebody say that, but I don't know where it was.
It's like a pretty common practice here, where it's like you don't leave one in the chamber. If you want to fire one, it doesn't take that much time to just cock the pistol.
That's true, but when seconds matter sometimes.
Oh my god, you're not in a fucking duel.
No.
Like, all right, no. If you're in a fucking 6-shooter duel, all right, fine. Keep one in the chamber.
Well, I gotta look and see if I got one in there now.
Okay. Or if you're really determined, you can always go for the double click, because the first click will load the chamber. But yeah,
chamber is cleared.
Okay. I can keep one in the chamber. Terrible advice. Terrible. All right.
I retract my previous statement until further notice.
Until further notice. We'll find out next week.
Talk to some more instructors. Yeah.
Find out next week
for Cody's gun advice.
That's gonna get you fucking killed. All right.
Well, I just got my concealed carry permit, and I'm going to take another class.
We have 2 watchers right now. If one of them kills themselves, we are half.
Oh, that's true. You guys have guns to protect yourself, because we don't want you to die from other people. But don't kill yourselves either.
Bad.
We are anti-suicide.
We are very anti-suicide.
Should we add that to the list of things we
I can add that to the list, yeah. Yeah, you just okay, I'm on the for the record. Also anti-suicide.
Yeah, because I'm all for Second Amendment and everything.
There we go.
So I think more people should have guns. I was actually talking to my brother-in-law about guns, and because he was the one who helped me pick out my first gun.
Oh yeah?
And we were talking about it. And I told him, oh yeah, I got my carry permit. And he's like, oh cool, are you carrying now? And I'm like, no. He's like, you can always carry at my house. It's totally fine. I'm like, yeah, I didn't know if, because my sister-in-law was in town from California, and I was like, I didn't want to be carrying around the kids and everything. But
yeah, don't carry around Californians. They tend to be real jumpy about that.
Well, she's from Oregon and more conservative than regular Californian. I mean,
okay,
she's probably center left.
Gotcha.
So she's okay with it. She grew up around guns and stuff. I think they lived in Texas for a while, and then she moved to California for. Anyway, nobody cares about my family history.
Living in Texas changes you. Makes you more confident. Makes you more heat resistant.
He said I could I could put it in his gun safe when I come over if
That's cool.
I don't want to carry it around the house. So I'm like, cool, man. He bought the same gun I did, and he said it fires great. So
That's cool.
Eager to go shooting sometime soon.
Now, if only I could figure out how to get like a 22 rifle, but concealed.
Just buy a 9mm.
I don't like pistols. I'll be real.
Well,
Like,
why do you want to concealed carry?
Because the 22 rifle's not a pistol.
Well,
That's
why don't you
that's just a rifle.
carry it around? Yeah, why don't you just open carry?
Fucking. Okay, look. Open carry in Texas usually means pistols. If you actually walked into a store with like a fucking AK, like, yeah, technically you can, but you would definitely have people being like, "Oh God." Let's slide under the table. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that would be different. But most of the time, when we're talking about like even like strong open carry people, most people, if they're like going to a store or something, they would just like leave their guns in the car. At least like at least the heavy artillery, you know?
Yeah, I don't open carry. I want to. Well, I mean, I live in Oregon. I want to conceal carry because I don't want to freak people out. But you know, open carrying a rifle is a little. I don't know. Seems like you're going off to war, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I just like 22s because like they're easy to fire. They're super accurate. Yeah. They're like the recoil is minimal. I love them. Like I can sit there and fire those all day. It's just fun. But yeah, I know some people that that fire guns a lot more than me probably enjoy firing something a little heavier. But yeah, I don't need a storm bolter to be happy. I don't need to be fucking doing gangster style Desert Eagles, fucking dual wielding, like just smacking the shit out of myself with it.
Dude, Desert Eagles. If you can dual wield Desert Eagles, I'd be impressed. But
dude, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to imagine who could actually dual wield Desert Eagles, and I'm like,
that would be so hard.
Fucking maybe a bodybuilder. Because when I'm talking like dual wielding Desert Eagles, I'm like talking about holding it full length, not like holding it right on your fucking shoulder and being like, I'm dual wielding Desert Eagles. Look at my chicken wings.
Have you shot a Desert Eagle before?
I have never shot a Desert Eagle. The largest caliber I've shot was a 44.
Man, it's like
I have never one.
It's a lot of fun.
I have never one deeged anything. That's for sure.
It's I think I've only done it once, and I only did like 2 or 3 shots, but it was my grandfather's gun, and
they're awesome looking guns.
It's like holding a cannon.
It is a fucking. It's 50 cal. Yeah, it is a fucking cannon.
I mean, it's a lot of fun to shoot, but you know, make sure you're wearing hearing protection and all that good stuff.
Wait, you mean this is an anime? I can't just run around firing off massive guns right next to me without problems? Damn it. Not again.
Yeah, it turns out this is real life.
Shit. Alright. Well, here, let's go back to the fucking... Now that we've gone off on our gun tangent.
Now we're on Facebook's dangerous individuals and organizations list. You can send us death threats.
Dope. I've always wanted to be sent a death threat.
Right? Who doesn't? It's the cool thing to do now, apparently.
Dude, I've never understood why anybody bothers sending death threats. They're just so passé at this point. It's like
so lame.
Everyone knows you're not going to actually do it. Like, I don't know. It just seems stupid. Let's see. In May, internal Facebook spreadsheet identifying several mostly conservative personalities. Shocking. To be investigated for alleged association with any designated hate entity, designated hateful ideology, or hate bongs. The target. I love saying hate bongs. Right. The targets include several figures previously banned from Facebook and Insta for being dangerous, such as Alex Jones, Jesus Christ, Laura Loomer, yeah, you said that, and some more mainstream conservatives like Candace Owens and Bridget Gabriel. How have I never heard of Bridget? All right. Last month it was revealed that Facebook's
She's not
criteria.
super famous,
No,
so
maybe I should look into her at some point.
no, like I didn't know about her till she was on Dave Rubin.
Oh no,
But then I started looking into her a little more, and I think she's written a couple books and she has her own organization. But yeah, she's not super famous. She's not like Ben Shapiro level famous or.
gotcha. Makes sense. All right. Well, 119 Antifa groups are currently active on Facebook. Some advocating for milkshakes and bricks to be thrown at people they disagree with. Facebook has no issue with their presence. Oh wait a minute. Oh shit. Antifa's still not on the. Okay, Antifa clearly deserves to be on this list. Like, come on,
Yeah,
guys.
that was.
If anyone
not down with that.
What's up?
Fuck Antifa.
Well, I mean, I don't think this list should exist at all. But like, if we're gonna say hate groups, I mean, come on. Like,
Yeah,
really now.
You need to include everybody.
Well, I mean, that's the whole problem in general. Is like, it's not that I mind so much that these platforms are censoring, because I mean, I do understand that it's a private platform. They in theory should be able to do what they want, but if they can't apply it evenly, well then fuck you. Like, it's not reasonable to just say, well, I mean, we're going to apply these rules to you. Well, then they're not rules. They're just fucking edicts that you're handing down just to me.
Well, it's not like they're not applying. They're not saying this is the rule and it applies to everybody. They're saying, well, these people have special rules for them.
Right.
Could be bad, could be good.
Fucking stupid. On Wednesday, Facebook deleted the unless the target is an organization or individual covered in the dangerous individuals or organizations policy. Oh my god. That entire part was like, because that went through meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, and that came out. That there was like this whole dangerous individuals and organizations policy that describes who it's okay to send death threats to, and they're not going to do shit about it because it's in the policy. Like, guys, you seriously, at no point in these meetings did any of you go, maybe this is going to have a problem. Are you guys just stupid? What is this?
That's why I was saying, if you want to be charitable, like as charitable as you possibly can be, then maybe they were thinking that, well, there's people that'll say something like, oh, I'd punch that guy in the face because he's a jerk. They'll say something like that technically is like advocating or promoting violence, but it's just like a saying, like it's just a phrase people say, I'd punch that guy in the face or something.
You mean kind of like at the White House thing? It was like, let's take this outside.
Yeah, like when Sleepy Joe was like, I'll take Trump behind the woodshed or something.
No, behind the gym.
Yeah, behind the gym.
And it just sounded like weirdly sexual.
Well, it sounded like we needed camera crews and put it on pay-per-view because geriatric UFC sounds great.
Dude, it sounds like we need a porn director is what it sounds like.
Trump would totally win.
Win what? Wait, who's on top?
Win the slap fight.
Who said it's a slap fight?
Well, he's going to take him behind the gym and fight him. That's what he said.
Oh, like the entire way that entire the phrase comes out, it kind of just sounds like he's taking Trump for a hate fuck.
Well, maybe that too. Who knows? He is, they're both huge racists.
That's true. So I forgot.
They could bond over that.
Oh, Nancy Pelosi too. Just throw her in the ring. Just make it totally weird for everyone.
Gross.
Oh god. Look, it can't be any. And I love that the second I say that, whereas like we're implying naked Nancy Pelosi, suddenly zero watching, and I'm like, all right, fine.
Yeah, everyone left. Jeez, way to scare everybody away.
Fine. My bad.
Yeah, there isn't much more here. Facebook took it down, and I don't know if they're gonna put it back up, or when nobody's looking, or slip it in somewhere. Who knows? These tech companies, I don't know what they're doing. If I were in charge, I'd probably run the company into the ground. But If I manage to somehow make it work like they do, I would just, the rule would be if they broke the law, I would take it down. If they're not breaking the law, then I'd allow it.
Dude, if these guys have somehow managed to not run the company into the ground at this point, I think you'd be fine. Like, holy
That's
shit.
true. They're no saints either. So.
Like, sometimes it feels like these guys are actively trying to run themselves into the ground, I'll be real. See, Jeffrey Epstein, like, we're just gonna move on. Pedo Man, arrested alleged pedo man, arrested for sex trafficking of minors in Florida and New York on the Lolita Express.
All aboard the Lolita Express
that everyone has fucking known about.
Island.
Yeah, the fucking everyone has known about for goddamn decade at least, if not two, and now everyone needs to talk about it. Like, okay, guys, Jesus Christ. It's like Pedo Man has been arrested for allegedly sex trafficking minors in Florida and New York from 2002 to 2005. I think you mean 2002 to allegedly today.
Well, he sort of spent 13 months in jail, though he could leave during the day to do work and then come back at night. So I guess it was just a way for
so
him
it
to
was
not have
so
to
it was
pay
his apartment
for a hotel, I guess. Yeah, like it sounds fucking great.
Fucking, can I get an apartment in the prison? That doesn't actually sound too bad.
I mean, I've never been to prison, so...
I mean, it doesn't sound like it would be the best thing, but, I mean, what do you want for free?
That's true.
I mean, like, you get what you pay for.
I'm sure he wasn't in general population either.
Probably not. Because you know about, like, some of the fucking sweetheart deals that these guys get. Remember that, fucking, what was it? I can't remember who it was. It was some celebrity that got nailed on some drug charges and was just in jail. Sort of got the fucking El Chapo treatment where they had like their own prison suite. And it was like, Jesus Christ. Wow. This is fucking ridiculous, guys.
Yeah, that's not justice, in my opinion.
Yeah. Fucking dumb. But anyway, the 66-year-old registered sex offender faces an indictment. Oh, he's a registered sex offender. Oh, okay, so I don't have to say alleged anymore. He's just pedo man.
He had to register as a sex offender the last time he was
part of his pedo man. Faces an indictment in which he will be charged on one count of sex trafficking minors and another for conspiracy to engage in sex trafficking of minors. He is due to appear in court. How do you even get that job? What the fuck? He is due to appear in court.
Just kind of falls into it, I guess. I don't know, man. It's so fucking gross and so weird.
Yeah. In New York on Monday and could face up to 45 years in prison. Does he actually have to stay in the prison, out of curiosity? He was taken into custody by the FBI NYPD Crimes Against Children Task Force. That is a mouthful. On Saturday at the airport at Teterboro. Really? Teterboro? Whatever. New Jersey.
Teterboro, New Jersey, yeah.
Following an overseas flight. Epstein's arrest comes after a New York federal appeals court ordered last week the release of 2,000 pages of judicial documents. Oh, that's right, because this whole thing isn't actually him being relitigated. This is them opening up his sweetheart deal, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's... So, part of the... Depends on which side you go to, because if you go to the Democrats or the, I guess, the liberal, whatever you want to call it, the left...
Sure.
It's all about his ties to the Trump administration, because we want to nail Trump with this scandal. And his labor secretary, Alexander Acosta, not Jim Acosta, Alexander Acosta, was one of the prosecuting attorneys, I think.
Okay.
And he was part of making the deal, the sweetheart deal that he got. So people are mad at him. And if you go to the Republicans, it all goes back to Bill Clinton, which isn't getting really any media attention because Bill Clinton was buddy-buddy with this guy, and he's been on his Lolita Express plane, I guess, 7 times or so.
I heard it was more like 17, but...
Well, yeah, the numbers... Clinton said 4, came out and said 4 times he took 4
He
trips,
admitted to 4 trips on the fucking Lolita
and
Express. Okay.
well, yeah, one's bad enough.
Yeah,
4,
seriously. It's like,
it's like fuck.
hold on.
And then
I didn't go 7 times. I just went 4 times, and it was like I wasn't there to fuck, underage boys. I was there to margaritas.
well, I don't know if he
Lots of margaritas.
went to Pedophile Island or whatever they're calling it, Orgy Island in this story.
Did they actually call it Orgy Island?
Who was on the plane? Yeah, in the story they do.
Oh, fuck.
I don't know if Trump was on his plane once, but there's also another story that Epstein got a little too fresh with one of the employees at Mar-a-Lago, and Trump kicked him out and hasn't really talked to him ever since.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like a decade ago. But before that, Trump had said that he was a good guy and that he likes women maybe a little bit younger than he likes beautiful women almost as much as Trump does, though he likes them a little bit younger, which in light of this does not make Trump look very good either.
No, it doesn't. But, I mean, for all we know, that could be coincidental because it's not that weird for billionaires to like young women. Well, I mean, it depends on how young we're talking about, because it's saying as young as 14. Okay, 14 is unacceptable. Like, I don't care what standards you have, 14 is unacceptable. If we're talking someone
under
that just
18
really likes,
is unacceptable,
right? But legally. I mean, yes. But if we're talking about like morally, if we're talking about someone that's like 17 and 15/16ths, like, am I that upset about tomorrow. It? Right? Like, am I really that upset about it? I mean, it's not good. It's still statutory rape, but it's not the same thing as like trafficking 14-year-old girls to an island.
Right? There's degrees.
Yeah, there's definitely degrees to this fucking thing. So it could easily be that Trump was talking about him just liking 18-year-old girls, like the whole barely legal fetish, which is very prominent on porn sites. It's a very common thing. So I'm not gonna.
So gross.
Hey man, look. At least that sort of like provides a bit of a reasoning for it, where it's just sort of like, okay, Trump wasn't necessarily talking about, I'd like to think that if Trump thought that he was trafficking 14-year-olds, he wouldn't be saying this sort of thing. But then again, I mean, it's also sort of part of Trump's style, right? Like the worse they get, the more he'll sit there and be like, they're not so bad, like in an attempt to negotiate with them.
Well, for Trump, it's just he just gives his opinion. If like he met the guy and they got along fine and he liked him, then he just praises them. Like that's just how Trump is.
True.
He'll praise you, and then if you do something he doesn't like, he'll call you like Little Rocket Man or whatever.
Yeah.
He'll insult you. That's just his style. He's always praising people way beyond a normal person would. What a normal person would do.
True.
And so that's just part of who Trump is, I think. And so I think that's why they haven't focused too much on the Trump stuff, and they're more focused on his labor secretary and why he has put his resignation in, and he will no longer be labor secretary in 7 days, so in a week.
That was the prosecutor in the Epstein case, right?
Yeah, in the original charges.
All right. Fuck that guy for letting this happen. So yeah, good that he's gone.
Well, yeah, I don't know the full story, and I don't know all the legal documents or anything like that. I don't know how solid the case was, but the Epstein had Ken Starr and another super famous lawyer whose name escapes me right now. It might be in the story later on if we go through it.
From what I've understood, like the deal that Epstein got was one of the best deals some of these lawyers have ever seen. And I'm just like, all right, you didn't need to give him a deal that good. Like, come on, guys. There's no way. I mean, if there's evidence to the contrary, I'm listening. But like, I really don't think that it's a coincidence that a fucking mega rich dude with like important connections just happens to get off on the fucking on his like pedo orgy island. Okay, like I don't. That would be an unbelievable coincidence to me.
Well, yeah, that's what
That's
people are
fucking
mad about. But
fantastical.
I don't know. We don't like you can have witness testimony, but that can only go so far.
Yeah,
It's their word against his at that point,
true.
and he probably has influential and people who would testify in his defense. So it's it's hard when like I'm not a lawyer and I haven't looked at all the legal stuff. I'm not saying that the deal was right. I don't think that at all. I think the deal was, like you said, it's a gold plated sweetheart deal that I don't think any regular person would get. He only
No.
gets it because he's well connected and super wealthy. And so that's another thing that's coming up too is like, where does all of his money come from?
Hmm.
Because nobody, it's not like he's going and working somewhere. He's a financier, but where does his money come from? So people are speculating that it's blackmail because he records these people in their Pizzagate fetishes
Yeah,
and then blackmails them for money. That's how he maintains his money.
I don't know how much blackmail you would even need to do because it's like, especially in the case of someone like Bill Clinton. I mean, do you even need to blackmail him? It's like, oh no, please don't use your legions of young women assaulting me with nakedness to black. Oh no, please no, please get these young women away from me. No, like all
Well,
he
no,
needs to do is
it's
promise that. He doesn't even need to blackmail Bill Clinton.
well, yeah, it's he's doing it for the money.
He has an orgy island. The man has access to as much money as he can handle.
Well, maintaining, girls age, right?
I mean, yes,
they're not
but
14 forever. He's got to get fresh.
no. What I'm saying is like,
So
I
wrong.
no, I'm saying like for what he's offering, there's always going to be buyers. Like this is just one of those things that I mean, it's not okay, but it is worth notating that there's always going to be buyers and guys like this that are willing to go to the absolute bottom of the barrel are always going to have money. Because the truth is, there's going to be well-connected guys that want this service that will pay out the ass for anyone that they can get connected to that has this service available. They will pay all the way out the ass because, maintaining something like this, like you said, is difficult and expensive and requires the right person at the right time and the right location. So, yeah. If it wasn't Bill Clinton, it would be some Saudi prince. Let's be real.
Well, it's not like you have to trick these guys into it. It's just
Exactly.
he
They know
offers
what they're
this, and
getting.
then he they pay for it, and then he's like, "Well, you just keep paying me a monthly fee to be a member of my Orgy Island Club,
Yeah, come whenever
and
you want.
you get these perks. And if you wanna, it's like when you go to when you have a gym membership and you want to cancel it, and they're like, "Oh, don't you want to get in shape?" And they like
Exactly.
guilt you and harass you into keeping it. And
Dude, fucking
yeah,
Gold's Gym kept calling me for like I'd say 10 months after I canceled the
oh
fucking
wow,
subscription. And I'm like, guys, take me off the fucking rolls. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry for ever getting a membership here. Jesus Christ. Is that what you want? I'm sorry. Fuck. Leave me alone.
business. Imagine, well, he will just say, "Well, I've got recordings of you, so you just keep paying me and
Mm-hmm. That's true.
use it or don't." So
I mean, to be fair, at
yeah,
the point we're talking about, like, would it have even made a difference if fucking Bill Clinton had gone there every other week? It literally wouldn't have. You'd still have the same people defending him and the same people detracting from him. Like, it, and he would still have walked out there and been like, "It was just 4 times, guys." It's like you went to Pedo Island 4 times. How is that supposed to be okay?
Well, his point was, yeah, I flew on his jet 4 times, but I had Secret Service with me every time, so he's got witnesses to say that to prove that he didn't do anything.
I'm sorry.
But
Hold
now
up.
there's
Hold up. Your witnesses are your personal bodyguards.
well, they're U.S. I guess agents.
I mean,
I don't
yes,
know.
but like the entire job of the Secret Service is dudes that will do anything for the president, including taking a bullet.
Well, not anything. Like they won't kill somebody just because he orders them to do it. I don't think.
I mean, they're not supposed to,
Some of
but
them might, but
I was about to say,
I
like,
can't imagine they'd be like, "Here's a puppy, strangle it." I'm
I,
the president. You have to do what I say. Some of them would, but I imagine most of them would be like, "Excuse me, no."
I guarantee you, in the like anyone that you're willing to take a bullet for, if especially if you like change the circumstances a little bit and just be like, hey, you're already willing to do this. If I give you a little money, could you just shut up?
Well, yeah, that's the Praetorian Guard, Roman,
Right.
Caesar Guard, and it's like, well, you have to pay us where's our bonus? You don't give us a
Right.
bonus, we'll just kill you and put somebody else there because what the fuck are you going to do about it?
Right. I mean, and I think that's sort of the situation a lot of these guys find themselves in. But I mean, seriously, like it would not. It doesn't sound weird at all for someone in these circumstances to just be paid to just keep doing their job and keep their mouth shut and come home with a nice fat check with something that's not like imagine if any of these guys came out, what would have changed? Nothing, and they know that. So
Yeah, I don't know.
it's kind of either go home with a nice fat check and feel a little shitty about yourself, but you can dry your tears in your new hot tub, or you know, blow the air into the wind, lose your job, and do nothing. It's a it's a shitty situation they find themselves in.
I would like to. I'm not going to say, oh, I would never do that. I would like to think that I wouldn't. That especially in a situation like this where it's like 14-year-old girls.
Right.
Like
That
I'd be
does
like,
change the
no, like
math,
I'll
but
tell people I will. You can fire me, you can smear me in the papers, but I'm going to tell this no matter what. Like I would hope that's where I would stand because I'm not going to make a definitive statement because you never know till you're in
I
that situation.
I don't
But
think most people are that, you know, steadfast.
principled.
Yeah, yeah. Like I think most people, you put them in that situation where it's like you give them the carrot and the stick, and they know that either way, like if you basically make it very clear that either way, whatever you do isn't going to change anything, why don't you just take the money? Right? Most people are just going to take the money. So yeah, and I don't think it would be hard to figure out who those people are beforehand before you bring them to Pedo Island. You know, like you can condition people for this sort of thing. You can move it like move that shit a little bit further and a little bit further each time. First, it's just yelling at a staffer. Then it's like a fight with your wife. You know, maybe someone gets hit, and well, you're just like, hey man, shut up. Here's an extra 1,000 on your paycheck. There you go. Go away. Like you can move that line slowly.
No. Yeah, you can, but I don't know. I'm not trying to pretend like I'm some sort of paragon of moral virtue or anything.
I'm not
Because
implying that you or I would be okay with this or wouldn't say anything. I'm just saying a lot of people, especially in those sorts of situations where their job is supposed to be total loyalty, uh I can imagine a situation very easily where someone finds themselves slipping down that path where they just don't say shit.
yeah, maybe it's because I'm an auditor and I'm paid to go find the shit that I'm like, no, I
You're
don't
just like, no,
want.
find the nearest alarm bell. Wee woo,
Yeah,
wee
I'm like,
woo.
I'm fucking pulling the alarm because I don't want this shit blowing back on me.
Fucking
Come on.
wee woo. Yeah, exactly. I need an ambulance. I need 10 ambulances and the press.
Well, and I've been doing like a lot of reading and a lot of thinking on principles and virtue and what it means to be a virtuous person and doing what is right even if you have to pay the consequences, I guess. No good deed goes unpunished sort of thing.
Well, yeah, because no one likes being taken to task, and they're going to fight you about it.
Well, and I know there's been situations in the past where I've kept my mouth shut or I've done things that I probably shouldn't have done or things I'm not proud of.
And hopefully you wouldn't do it today, whatever it is.
Yeah, you learn from those mistakes. It was a lot of like stuff that I did when I was in my early 20s and I was drinking a lot.
Okay, there you go. That pretty much explains anything.
Yeah, so don't drink, or drink responsibly.
Do
kids.
not drink and drugs, kids.
Yeah, don't do drugs. Fuck drugs. That's something I've never done, but anyway.
Wait, you've never even smoked?
No, I've never smoked marijuana. I've been to a hookah lounge.
I was like, what did you think I meant? Crack?
No, I didn't think you meant crack. I've never done that either. The hardest,
hey Cody, you want to smoke some crack?
Hookah is hashish, all right? It's kind of like tobacco.
Yeah. I think I've done tobacco. That.
It's not like it just burns my lungs.
I'm pretty sure hashish is just like basically the hash from the tobacco plant.
Flavored tobacco. It's supposed to have flavor to it. It just tastes like burning. But I've tried it and I didn't like it. But the hardest drug I've ever done.
Hit it wrong. Sorry, what?
Is the hardest drugs I've ever done is alcohol.
I would actually say that's a harder drug than weed in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I'd say they're pretty close.
I don't know, man. I've never done anything stupid. Like, I won't say I've never done anything stupid, like, from smoking, but, like, I've never gotten into a fight smoking, It's always been, like, if someone gets in your fight when you've been smoking, you're like, you want to hit?
Yeah, I've never... Yeah, I'll punch you right in the face. I've never gotten a fight when I was drinking. It was mostly, like, I would drive when I was drinking.
Yeah.
So, don't do that either.
Yeah, if I've been smoking or drinking or anything, like I always give myself like a little mini sobriety test. Because I figure that if I can't walk straight, what are the odds that I can drive straight? Jump up and down a little bit, shake my head, walk back and forth, do a little bit of...
I would say now, from my experience, that if you drink anything, just don't drive, even if it's just one drink. It's not worth it. Just have somebody be a designated driver, or Uber, or Lyft, or taxi, or bus, or whatever. There's so many different ways now that you can get. This is before I was drinking. Before there was Uber and Lyft.
Old.
Back in my day.
Yeah, exactly. No, I wouldn't say don't do it at all, because maybe you just don't have that option. Depends on where you are. But, like, just make sure that you can actually do it. Because I think there is also something to be said for, like, different resistances that people have. Because some people, like, I have met people that can drink a fair bit, and they're fine. Like, it's just, some people are just like that.
I would still say no.
I mean, yes, in general,
fine they appear or feel or whatever. I'd say no.
Yeah,
even
that's fair.
It's from my experience.
That's fair.
It's a lot cheaper to pay for the Lyft or whatever, or to pay for a hotel room, for crying out loud, or a motel room, than it is to pay for a DUI, because I got one.
Ooh, those suck.
Yeah,
those suck hard.
You can lose your license and thousands upon thousands. They pay you you have to pay them for the privilege of going to, like, drug treatment.
Oh, good.
And You have to pay
Yay.
for your urinalysis tests.
Oof.
They make you pay for everything.
Yeah,
So, and they're not
I get
cheap.
it. I get it, but it's like, god damn, guys. All right.
Yeah. So
What
don't
are,
do it. Don't
that's
don't
fair.
go on the Lolita Express.
Oh yeah, don't.
Don't
If
hang out
Bill
with this
Clinton wants you
Epstein
to
guy.
guard him, don't do it. He's gonna try and get you to shut up about him like fucking 14-year-olds. Um, in February, yeah, found the negotiations struck by Acosta infringed upon the rights of the victims. That sounds about right. Ordered the records to be unsealed. Deal gave federal immunity for the alleged crimes to Epstein and co-conspirators. Wow, really?
Well, yeah, the attorneys he was up against, the Epstein had hired, was Ken Starr. You know who Ken Starr is?
The name sounds very familiar, but I don't remember which.
I think he's the lawyer, not in Watergate. He was the lawyer
The lawyer in
for the
Watergate? Jesus.
impeachment. No, he was the lawyer for the impeachment hearing of Clinton, I think.
Oh, shit.
And then Alan Dershowitz. And he's like a super powerful like attorney too. So
Oh, this is...
he had some big guns.
Man. Particularly problematic was the government's decision to conceal the existence of the agreement and mislead the victims to believe that federal prosecution was still a possibility. That is fucked up.
Yeah, that if that's true, then yeah,
Jesus.
like he should totally resign.
Dude, fuck this guy. All right. Acosta has been criticized for his handling of the prosecution of Epstein, otherwise known as Pedo Man. Critics argue that the penalty was far too light. Really, given that the allegations that Epstein was involved in sex trafficking and abused dozens of women, many underage. He initially faced a 53-page federal indictment for related crimes. Christ on a stick. All right.
Well, is 53 pages long for a federal indictment?
I mean,
or are they like if somebody gets like a traffic ticket, they get like a 42-page indictment?
I don't think it's 53 pages because I'm pretty sure when we're talking about 50 page numbers for federal indictments, typically speaking, the indictments are literally just them laying out what he did. That's what the indictment is. So if they filled up 53 pages of this is all the shit he did, and here's some like cursory evidence, like even if you cut that in half to account for the evidence, like that's a lot of shit. The Justice Department's Office of Professional Responsibility announced in February it had launched an investigation into whether Acosta's actions as a U.S. attorney amounted to professional misconduct. Yes, Acosta defended himself by arguing that he did not violate the crimes. Oh yes, the age-old didn't do it defense. All right, didn't
do nothing.
Didn't do nothing. Did not violate the Crime Victims' Rights Act, and the Justice Department backed his actions. Then fucking fire all of them. Just fire the Justice Department, all of them.
Well, they're not. They're not the ones that are there currently. It changes with the president. So
yeah, well,
find
wherever they. I don't care if they work at a 7-Eleven. Fire them. Two of Epstein's accusers have accused Dershowitz of participating in or being present for Epstein's sex ring. But accused Dershowitz. Ah, lovely. So Dershowitz might have been like present as this was happening. Dershowitz, who claims evidence under seal can prove his innocence, I guess we're about to find out, reacted to the new charges against Epstein by telling the Daily Beast, "I'll wait to see what the evidence is." What? How do you not? You have the evidence. Like, what? Okay. I'm confused by that statement, but all right.
I'm trying to read it again.
Epstein was closely connected to former President Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew, the second son of Queen Elizabeth II, who was the reigning monarch of the United Kingdom. Both flew frequently on Epstein's private jet, dubbed the Lolita Express. President Trump was Epstein's neighbor in Palm Beach and a former friend. He also flew on Epstein's plane. Oof. That's not good.
Well, yeah, Dershowitz says that there's evidence that's under seal that he can prove his innocence.
Yeah, that's the only thing I really saw. That's the only major information I saw about him here, because this was mostly about Epstein. But yeah.
Yeah, he said he'll wait to see what the. I mean, that's just a lawyer line, you know.
Yeah. I'll deal with the evidence that you prove that you have. So yeah, that's pretty standard fare lawyer shit. Um, yeah, there's a lot of information here, but honestly not a whole lot to say about the whole Jeff Epstein thing because it's just like fuck that
Yeah,
guy.
it's still developing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like, I mean, in the court of public opinion, he's already guilty.
Oh yeah.
Like it's sort of like the Harvey Weinstein thing. It's everybody around him knew he was guilty, but nobody ever did anything about it. And then, Me Too comes along, and now something
Yeah.
happens.
Magically, everyone cares now.
Right now, people care. It's like, well, why didn't you care? 10 minutes ago. Why do you care now?
Yeah, seriously, you've been letting this happen to new women for how many decades at this point? Now you care. Okay. Now that you've climbed the ladder, now you care.
Well, and I wonder how much of a story this is going to be since Alexander Acosta resigned. Is the media going to keep up with it and pursue like the Bill Clinton angle? And
I don't think this is going to become a huge thing because this is honestly kind of just rehashing old news. So I think unless they can
got
prove
arrested again, so
sure,
it's kind of it's the next chapter.
It is,
but yeah, it is a lot of.
There's a lot of rehashing, and I'm kind of feeling like unless there's an angle on Trump in here, like a real angle, because I mean, yes, it looks like he flew on the plane. We don't know if he actually went to Orgy Island. Because it makes it sound like it was only one time. If it was a bunch of times, okay, maybe there's like more to look at there. Because I mean, I'm like, if it turns out that Trump was taking frequent trips on the Lolita Express, I'm not like, all right.
Yeah, that might cause me not to vote for him.
Yeah, I don't normally vote.
But I would need some evidence.
Yeah, exactly. Like I normally don't vote on social issues, but I mean, I feel like this is an exception. So
this is the exception to the rule.
Yeah. This definitely feels like an exception I'm comfortable with. Yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see whether or not there's actually anything on Trump. Because that's really the interesting thing. Was anyone really confused that fucking Bill Clinton was a bit of a sex pest? No. Like this is not news.
No,
Nobody's cared before now.
It would be different if they were underage girls, though. I mean, it's just always been like he's a philanderer, but that's not illegal. That's that's between him and Hillary, and whatever they do is, that's their business.
I mean, no, but like it's been known for a long time that Bill Clinton was taking trips to this island. Like this is not new.
Well, yeah, that's not new either, but.
Like, it's one thing for him to be like, hey, baby, I'm the 43rd president of the United States. Want some fuck? Like, that's one thing.
That's his Craigslist ad.
Yeah. Just literally, I'm Bill Clinton. Want some fuck? So, yeah.
Oh, man. So gross.
Want to ride up on these wrinkly old balls?
No, thank you.
I sort of cringed saying it. That's rare.
So,
all
right. Speaking about people resigning, the UK ambassador also resigned earlier this week.
Britain's ban in the US says Trump is inept. Wow, what a unique position. All right.
Right. This whole story, I can sum this story up. In my opinion, is that it's not a story. I mean, it's only a story because he's resigning, I guess. These emails they're not anything you haven't read in the newspaper. Basically, he's just a progressive. He's a progressive guy. He believes in all the progressive stuff about Trump. He's seen some of it, so I guess he's got like an insider view of it. But of course, he's going to think that. He's going to confirm his own bias.
Yeah.
And then he emailed it to his superiors in London, which is his job. And then somebody leaked it, and Trump got mad at him. And so now the UK, I guess he resigned because he thought he couldn't do his job well anymore. But
Well, yeah, his job is diplomatic relations with the United States. I'm just saying, I don't really care if you think the president's inept. Your job is to make nice with the president. That's literally
yeah.
your job. So, if you
Well,
can't
and
do
he
that, then
had
yes, resign.
in the story it talks too about how when Trump went to the UK last time and how the visit was really good. Like, he was the guy who managed the visit
Mm-hmm.
and how it went really well and everyone was super impressed and how Trump liked it. Because right now the UK with Brexit, they need all the allies they can get and they don't want to piss off the US.
Yeah, seriously.
So if they're leaving the European Union, I mean, unless they have another referendum, I guess. But once they leave, they're going to need, to make
Oh my
allies with
god.
other people. So the U.S. would, and Trump's already said that.
Hold on. Fucking, I just read this line warns that Trump could have been indebted to dodgy Russians. Oh, for fuck's sake, is this still not dead? Oh my god.
Right?
Let the right look. Unless someone is going to come out with some more fucking evidence, can we please let this die for now? Like, for just the next 20 minutes, can we just ignore the Russian fucking reptilian conspiracy theory?
Russia Gate.
Oh my god. They might as well be fucking
2020.
reptilian believers. Describes bitter conflicts within Trump's White House. Yeah, thank you for verifying what we already knew.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Fucking yes, he's an explosive president with some very strange dynamics in his White House. We know. Um, Nobody's happy about that, but his fucking economy is amazing. So whatever he's doing, go for it. Claims the president's economic policies could wreck the world trade system. How?
The system where the American working class gets screwed over in order to benefit socialists somewhere else.
But like, it's not though. Like, all right, maybe because I have heard some economists. Wow, I was saying economist, way weird. Some economists basically say that this is sort of like a cocaine trip for the American economy, where it's like it's riding high right now, but it's going to crash quickly, and that's possible. It wouldn't be that weird, but I mean, it doesn't seem like he's.
What is quickly?
I mean, the same as any other recession, quickly could very easily mean within the course of 3 months. I don't think they mean like.
Well,
I don't think they mean like right now. I think they mean like as soon. I don't know if it's like right as soon as Trump leaves, because part of the good economy right now is like, and people don't want to admit it, but part of the economy that we have right now is the fact that Trump is very openly pro business. Like, he wants businesses to grow. He will do what businesses need to do to grow. So part of the current climate is everybody's willing to invest because Trump is president. So the second he leaves, it's very possible that all of that just magically dries up.
well, yeah, but that wouldn't be. I don't know.
It would be a form. It is
I'm
technically a
always.
form of artificial inflation. I will give that to the economists. That is technically artificial inflation. It's
I'm
not a
always
result of the
worried,
economy.
or I'm always skeptical of people saying, "Well, yeah, but this is going to go bad sometime." It's like, well, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Everything goes bad at some point.
Sure,
But how
but
bad are you talking here? Like, when is it going to go bad? And like, I
well,
need more specifics.
the problem with this kind of economic cocaine trip, because it's not like it's not necessarily that it will happen, because I think the longer the economy does well, the better, the less likely it is that we crash. Because I mean, if we go through an 8 year Trump presidency where the economy has been doing great the entire time, I find it very unlikely that the investors would all just suddenly pull right out and be like, no, no, we need to save all of our money. Trump's not president anymore. I think they would have enough. momentum at that point that it wouldn't be a problem. I think if we lose Trump at the 4 year mark, there would be a lot of investors that actually would be scared and pull their money. And suddenly we go from riding high to crashing all the way down. Because now all of the.
Just socialism.
Well, no, not necessarily socialism, but like if all of the investors pull their money all at the same time, like you got to remember a lot of these companies are forming their projections for the next few years based on expected investment. If that investment suddenly gets pulled out from under them, that's a problem. That's a real big problem. So, yeah, I don't think it's necessarily conspiracy theories that we're on a economic cocaine trip, but I do think that it's not necessarily going to crash. It's just the results of Trump artificially boosting the economy just through his own, rah rah rah, go American business is possible.
Well, he's got to leave office at some point.
He does, but that's kind of what I'm saying at the end of the 8 years.
Could be in like,
I think that'd be fine.
6 years or 12 years or
No, he's not going to be the fucking American God Emperor.
Didn't Trump say that at one point? He's like, well, I'd probably leave in like 6 years or maybe 12 or 14. Like, yeah, you're going to be the next FDR, I guess.
Fuck's sake.
Because he was elected for 4 terms. It used to be legal. It used to be totally fine. You could do that. But not anymore, which I am totally fine with. I'm okay.
See, we don't really believe this administration is to become substantially more normal, less dysfunctional, less unpredictable, less faction-driven, less diplomatically clumsy and inept. I mean, honestly, it's kind of weird that his like weird diplomatic strategy is kind of part of the reason he does things good. So,
well, yeah, I think he keeps everybody so off balance that they have no idea what he's going to do. Yeah,
like he's drunk boxing the world. It's really weird.
He can grasp opportunities and change his mind, whenever. Like, who knows what he's thinking? And the people who are trying to outsmart him think way differently than he does. Like, they don't have the same mindset or same outlook.
I love the idea that I kind of hope that Trump actually is as stupid as the progressives make him out to be. Because if he turns out to be a total moron that's been doing this great, what does that say about everybody else?
Well, yeah, what does that say about these quote unquote smart people who run the country and like fuck it up?
Like literally all you had to do was you literally needed someone stupid in the office to just be like, I don't know, that sounds good. So anybody trying to form a strategy just can't.
Needed somebody to be so dumb that they just get out of the way and let us fix
it makes me think of like the chess master's conundrum, where like a lot of chess masters will actually do worse against complete novices than they would against other chess masters, like significantly worse, because they're over there trying to form this grand strategy and the guy in front of them is just like pawn.
It's like, why would you do that? That's so silly. Why would you ever do that move?
But it ends up disrupting them. So they're like, okay, so they did that. Clearly, that means they're going to put this over here, and then they're trying to take this, so they're going to take that, so they're going to move over here, and then they just like nice.
And the novice is thinking like, how do horses move again?
Right, exactly. I like horses.
I'm gonna get my knight out there, man. My knight's gonna go out there and kick ass.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Knights are
fuck
cool.
him up, knight. Grandmaster's tearing his hair out. Like, god damn it.
Yeah, there is something to be said about that. And I think I told you this before, that I was listening to an audiobook and somebody interviewed Trump and they asked him, with your administration's so chaotic, like, do you think, like, does it feel like there's a storm around you and is it going to go away? And he turned and he said, I am the storm. And like, that was like he enjoys being in the middle of all the chaos and the drama. Like he does well there, I guess. So I mean, it's worked for him. If it works,
right?
Fuck.
Like, I don't know why anybody's complaining if it's still like if it's working fine and we're expecting it to continue working. What's the problem?
Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it, man. Come on.
I get that it could be working better, but like, by who?
That's always going to be true, though.
Yeah,
Things can always be better, but they can always be a lot worse too. So
true. So he does warn senior politicians in London, don't write him off. Like, okay, thank you. And yes, this is sort of awkward timing where like if they're trying to secure a fucking free trade deal with the UK, who like, yeah, we like the UK, but we don't have any actual reason to be fully invested in like for any sort of either diplomatic or economic. There's no real reason for us to be all that interested in what happens to the UK. We just like them. So
well, yeah, we have a long history with them, and
yeah,
we went through a lot with them. We fought, we
we
beat up
fought them
some
again.
guys. Yeah,
Yeah,
had some beers. Now we're buddies.
I'm just saying,
Well,
like, yes, that it seems to me like, especially since Brexit, it looks like Brexit is going to happen, as far as I can tell. But
yay.
but I mean, as usual, it ends up being they're still kicking the fucking can down the road.
Well, in the article too, they say that he warns Britain that the Trump administration that they might be the flavor of the month, and that this is still the land of America first. I'm like, why isn't Britain the land of Britain first? If we're all putting our own self interests first and then working and negotiating with each other to create something mutually beneficial to the both of us, as opposed to trying to think, well, what would be cool for everybody else to have, and fuck the people that are hurting my country. Like,
Right?
why can't you put your country first? Like, aren't you supposed to be serving your country and the people that live, the citizens that live there?
First and
That,
foremost, yeah. Like,
yeah, isn't that like your job as
I wouldn't blame
the
any country
leader?
for doing that. That just makes sense. Like, there's a reason you're running that country and not some other country. You know?
Well, I don't see why. Like, I understand helping your allies and helping your friends and neighbors and stuff like that. I understand that as like for a country perspective, but I don't understand why putting your country first is described as somehow bad.
No, that just seems dumb to me, honestly. But
Yeah, I don't understand the criticisms against that. So
no, I've never understood because it's one thing to criticize like nationalist, like civilian groups, because those can absolutely go too far. But and to
well,
be fair,
yeah,
yes, nationalist government groups can too. But it's like, I mean, when you represent the nation, I mean, yeah, there kind of should be some nationalism, like some.
well, yeah, nationalism isn't a bad thing.
Not
Like
necessarily. There
in
can
and
be
of
too much.
itself, yeah. Well, it's who is it? Aristotle's the golden mean or whatever.
Hmm.
You don't want too much nationalism, but you don't want to have too little nationalism either, because then you just hate your own country, I
Yeah.
guess.
Well, yeah, because I mean, every country has
Which
something that you
is,
could point at and be like, "This place is shit." So yeah,
well, that kind of feels like the territory that Democrats are slipping into.
yeah, a little bit. I don't think I like because the longer I've been looking at it, the more I'm just like because this has been something I noticed in my transition, between
To the dark side.
no, between like when I was like hard progressive to basically being center left is like it seems like no matter who gets in, pretty much the same shit happens. Especially because I was looking at specifically the Romney versus Obama race, and I'm like, okay, so if
Yeah.
Romney gets in, we've got a conservative president that's also going to institute Romney Care. If Obama gets in, we have a Democratic president who's supposedly liberal, but does all the things the Warhawks want, and we get Obamacare. What's the fucking
Yeah,
difference?
I didn't like Romney. Like, I
Like
mean,
seriously,
I
what?
opposed Obamacare, and I didn't like Romney care. I was like, no, like, can we get rid of it? Why are you guys so obsessed with forcing national health care on us? We
I'm
already
just
have
saying, like,
Medicare and Medicaid.
it feels like that every single time because the reality is like, okay, yes, this particular election was a weird one because it was Hillary versus Trump, but if it had been Hillary versus I don't know Ted Cruz, I mean, you can pick which one you prefer, but like, does anyone actually think that the country would be that different regardless? I don't. I really don't.
Well,
I view them
yeah,
as
it's
like they're paid by the same people. They are
the
bought off by the same people. Maybe not Ted Cruz specifically, because I'm sort of warming up to him in general. But you know what I mean.
well, I've never really bought into the whole that thing that politicians are bought off. Some of them, I'm sure, are, and there is probably some element to that. But I think it's usually they share an opinion. Like, who was it? Marco Rubio was when they did the 2 hours of hate for Marco Rubio after that shooting in Florida, Parkland. He was explaining they were trying to like say, "Oh, the NRA's got him in his pocket because they donated to his campaign," and he's like, "No, I believe in the Second Amendment,
Well,
and that's my stance." And then they donate because
I believe there
they
is some.
share that belief.
I believe there is some natural sorting. That's true. Like if you're a conservative, right, and you're interested in politics, yeah, okay, you're gonna go with the Republicans, almost certainly. Fair enough, and that's gonna come with a set of policy positions. But if you go join the Republicans, it yes, these guys will occasionally, in my opinion, act fully principally, where it's like, no, I really feel strongly about this, and I'm going to go out there and do it. But you have to remember that the entire way, their advisors are telling them, if you do this, you are hurting yourself. And they're right.
Yeah,
They're right. The advisors are correct. This like it's one of the nasty parts of politics, and it's one of the reasons why I do not trust politicians inherently. Look at what's happening to the Democrats right now. Look what's do you think any of them are actually like hardcore socialists except for like the four progressives that just got in? I don't.
they all are.
No,
They're all hardcore
they're
socialists.
not
But
though.
anybody to the left of me is a socialist.
Fucking
You socialist.
I really don't. I feel like most of this is they are trying to pander. And this is what politicians like when you get to the high level of politics, there are the low level politicians that say what they actually feel and never get anywhere. And that's the sad truth of it is that if you actually go on stage and say what you think, you don't win. That's the hard truth to politics. If you want to get to the national stage and stay there, you say what the party thinks because the party is like running all kinds of focus groups and they're working together. They're like playing basically team football, like the political version, where they've got like these long-term strategies with goals and plans and like counters and counter counters and counter counters where it's all been worked out and like they spent and when they're not doing that, it's not even the politicians doing that. It's focus groups and think tanks while the politicians are busy fundraising. Because that's what
Well, yeah, that might be true on like the national level, but the local parties. If my experience with the local party in my state is anything, they are nowhere near that sophisticated.
No, but again, we're talking like right now we're talking about the national level. If you want to talk about the local level, I think it depends. Because I suspect that if you went to one of the Democrat run like meetings, it would be very different. Because the Democrats actually expect to win there. So they're gonna put money there because they know that it's gonna return dividends. So
Well, yeah, the Republican Party doesn't give any money to the Oregon State Party.
well, yeah. I
Apparently.
mean, honestly, why would they? They know you're not going to win. Like, as shitty as that sounds, like it's just true.
Oh, you just broke my heart, man.
Like, but seriously, it's shitty, but it's true. Like, it's not like where you go to Texas and you've got like this mix, right? A lot of these districts could go red, they could go blue. Most of them are purple, so you'll see a lot of money flowing from the Democrats and the Republicans. Because Texas is a weird one, where like I've said it before and I'll say it again. Like, whenever I talk to my passengers about this, on my job, I'll sort of say this about Texas, especially for the tourists. Like, Texas is technically red, but there is more than enough blue support here that it really should be considered a purple state. It could go blue pretty much at any time, or red. It's a coin flip every time. It just keeps coming up red. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, Texas used to be a Democrat state, and California used to actually be Republican.
Mhm.
But just a matter of time before it flips.
Oh God! Please don't make Texas a Democrat state.
No, well,
Please,
yeah, I don't want it.
not right now.
I want to
Not
make
right now.
Oregon a Republican state. That's what I
Not
want
right
to do.
fucking now. Like, I maybe when they calm down a little bit. Like, if you had told me that like the Obama era Democrats were gonna run Texas, like, okay, not thrilled, but like not crying either.
Boo.
Not crying. Like, it's fine. Like, it'll be fine. But right now, holy shit, no, 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 no. Make it stop, please.
You don't want Beto?
Better.
Beto running your
I
state?
don't want better. Riding out on a skateboard. Hey, brah, we're gonna change the tax system. It's gonna be great. 25% extra taxes on everything.
And I'm gonna use the money to tear down this wall.
We're gonna put up some sick half pipes. Where that old pharmacy was.
I'm gonna
half
build
pipe.
a train from Mexico all the way into Texas, so they can just come in on trains.
No, we're gonna get all the skateboarder Mexicans. It's gonna be one giant half pipe that comes from here to Mexico. Be like series,
one big skate park.
That's right, one giant connected series of half pipes, so they can shred their way in, brah.
So I got a question.
Uh
Are you standing on your table now?
huh. Fucking Beto. Oh my god.
My wife actually asked me if I thought that he was going to be the candidate because she saw him on like Ellen or something.
Did she see him on a table
when he was? No, she saw him on Ellen.
Did
when
he stand
was
on Ellen's table?
Popular. Maybe. I don't know. I don't watch Ellen. My wife does.
Oh man, you should have asked her.
Ellen liked him and thought he was going to do really well, and so she thought, well, she likes Ellen, and
he's such a fucking dumb ass weasel, though. Like, he doesn't stand for anything. That's the problem. Like, even Tim pointed this out, where he's like, look, you go to his website and you look for policies, and oh wait, he doesn't have those.
There are none.
Yeah. Like, fuck's sake, dude. At least try.
Well,
look how it worked out for Trump.
I think we kind of covered this story, and I didn't pull up an article on this next one that I want to ask you. It's about, because I want to get your opinion on this.
Okay.
Because I was talking to my wife like briefly about it. As much as my wife hates to talk about politics, so I don't try to talk to her about politics.
Sure.
But I just got her opinion on it. But what is your opinion on the citizenship question on the census?
I mean, just from, I understand there's like more complicated political reasons that go back and forth, but like, when it comes to just the question of, is it appropriate for the census to ask the question? I mean, yeah. Like, I don't see a huge, like, from just on the face of it, it seems perfectly sensible. And I know that there's like more complicated districting reasons that people are like, well, hold on, like, we need more congressmen here because there's more people here. And it's like, yeah, but they're illegal. But they are here.
They're not citizens, so non-citizens. I mean, I guess taxation without. I mean, illegal
non-citizens doesn't necessarily mean. Well, no, I mean, because you got to remember the "Are you a citizen?" question is very specific. It's not asking "Are you an illegal immigrant?" Yeah. It's asking "Are you a citizen?" And that's not the same thing as an illegal immigrant. So
true, you can be here legally,
right,
and still not be a citizen.
Right. So it is a little more complicated than that, but on the face of it, like, it doesn't seem that weird to me to have like a question that just says, "Are you a U.S. citizen?" And I don't think we necessarily even need to, I don't think we necessarily even need to change the rules around like congressional seats or anything. It's just I don't think it's inappropriate to look at a particular area and be like, okay, so now we know this area has a large migrant population, whether that's illegals or whether that's Indians that are here for IT work or whatever, dude.
So what would your opinion be on? Because the whole thing is that they're afraid that non-citizens wouldn't answer the question or wouldn't take part in the census or whatever. And so that would, like you said, it'd mess up. They'd have less Congress people. But having a congressman means you're being represented in our government. And so
I think there's
do
a fairly equal.
non-citizens should they have representation in our government?
I think that there's a fairly easy way to get around this problem entirely. You just sort of like honestly, it's just expanding the question and just
Build a
turn.
wall.
No, that does not solve this. You can't just build a wall around every problem.
Damn it. Come on.
Bricks do not
We're
solve
making
everything.
jobs here. We're making jobs.
Can't just build
All
a
right.
wall around the census. Now you can build a wall around California. That's totally acceptable.
So what was your solution?
No, I was just saying, just expand it. Like instead of just asking, "Are you a U.S. citizen?" Like, just have a little, "Are you a U.S. citizen? Yes or no." If no, are you a green card holder? If no, are you a legal migrant of like
legal resident?
If no, are you illegal? And just make sure there's a little disclaimer down at the bottom that's like, this is not being collected for the purposes of blah 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 blah. Just to make sure people filling it out, because I do want people to fill out the census, and I want it to be used appropriately, but that also means properly identifying the general population of who's where. Because if you're an illegal and you see that, maybe you're more likely to actually say, "I'm here illegally."
Right. Well, for me personally, because I've been kind of thinking about like what does it mean to be a Republican, or what does that mean? Because Republicans often get accused of being racist, like, oh, they're just a party of white men, they hate women, they hate blacks, blah 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 blah. For me personally, I'd say if I do have some sort of, I guess, group that I would discriminate against, like for me the wall, I guess, the line between a group isn't so much, skin color or gender or whatever, or party affiliation. It's citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, that's what's important. Because being a citizen of this republic comes with certain rights and responsibilities. Like you have to sign up for selective service and jury duty, and you get freedom of speech and all that good stuff.
I don't think it's necessarily unfair to give legal non-citizens, like, not necessarily the same rights, but if we're just talking about congressional representation based on population, I don't think that's totally unreasonable. I mean, they did come in the correct way. They're here, they're contributing to the economy. For most of the ways that count, they're acting just like a regular citizen. They just basically they can't vote and they can't be president, and that's pretty much it.
They're not allowed to serve on a jury.
Yeah, no jury. Like there's more things than just that, but you get my point. Like for the most part, if you're here legally, like you went through the channels, we let you in. I don't think it's unfair for you to get at least proportional representation.
Yeah, I
don't want illegals getting representation, but
well, yeah, I'll have to think about it more, like how I want to figure that out. Because to me, I was thinking about is that for me, because I like to say that I'm philosophically Republican, that I'm not necessarily like party Republican, just because sometimes I disagree with a party on some things, but philosophically I agree with most of the stuff.
So what you're saying is philosophically you say fuck brown people, but you don't necessarily say fuck brown people by party lines. Okay.
Yep, exactly. No. Well, because like I was thinking, I don't give a shit about your skin color or gender. If you're an American, you're an American. Like you're an American citizen. Like to me, that I guess it's kind of weird to say it this way, but that holds like a special place in my heart. Like we're connected in some way because we both share citizenship in this great country. And so I think that's like a point of unity. And that's something that I would try to remember. Like even the most, like even AOC is a American citizen. Like I share a bond with this crazy eyed socialist that I think she would probably renounce if she found out that it would help her in some way. But
yeah.
But either way, we're both Americans, and so there's a certain level, I don't know, like of respect that's expected, or at least like I don't honestly, I don't respect her. She's not a respectable person, but she's, I guess, I don't know. I'm kind of have a hard way of saying what I'm trying to mean, because I do think that I do respect people, all people, regardless of citizenship, as human beings. So they're allowed, right to self-defense and free speech, or they should be. But that U.S. citizenship confers a different kind, just like British citizenship should confer a different sort of rights and responsibilities, and I don't know, brotherhood or whatever.
I don't know what you're talking about, Texan. I respect Texans and Texan sympathizers.
Well, I sympathize.
There you go.
But I'm also an American, so America first.
I mean, I guess I suppose that Neo Texas is cool, but old Texas is best Texas.
I don't know. You know what I mean? Like Civil War Texas?
No. Like there's us
Texas,
and then there's Neo Texas, the rest of you guys.
Oh, okay.
Like after we take over.
Right. In the second Civil War,
right.
When Texas secedes and then actually wins.
Yeah. We're just going to take half the country, and then we're going to invade the rest of the country at some point and take that too.
Look, I would fight in defense of America, but if Texas won, I wouldn't be that upset.
I mean, it's a pretty Texan thing to do. I'm just saying.
Well, apparently it's like an Eastern Oregon thing to do too. But we're full of dangerous militias out here.
Hell yeah, send them to Texas. We love those guys.
Oregon's got some too, but definitely in the minority. We're all looked down upon as, well, I'm not in the militia, so I can't say us, but they're kind of looked down on.
It's okay.
But yeah,
we my wife Texans.
Well, my wife was saying that like she didn't see a problem with it being on there, and I explained to her, well, if she's like, she said right away that people probably won't answer it, and I'm like, well, then that means if people don't answer the census because of that question, because they're afraid, which, like, who's making them afraid? It's not the Republicans. It's the friggin' Democrats telling them that, well, if they find out, they're going to just come murder you in your sleep. They're like, anyway.
It's true.
They're raising the specter of this boogeyman. But anyway, so my wife was like, I should explain to her that if they don't count non-citizens, then there will be less congressional representation. So there'll be less seats. And she's like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, do you think that non-citizens should have representation in our government? And she said no. And she's usually more left than I am, like a lot more left than I am. Sure. I guess.
I mean, look, as long as it's population proportional for people that we let into the country, I'm not like, if someone told me that we were like, no representation, I'd be like, yeah. But if someone told me that also that we're definitely going to get those guys some representation, it would also kind of be, eh. Like, I just don't care that much either way about this particular one. Because it's like
If they're
either
here,
way, there's arguments.
yeah, if they're here legally, I can understand. I can entertain arguments both ways. I can
Yeah,
see where people are coming from, but if they're here illegally, I don't think they should be counted. Or I mean, they should be counted in the census because we want to know who's here. But I don't think that they should be counted in terms of representation.
yeah. Just I would honestly make sure, like, to solve some of this problem, I would go out of my way to make sure it's understood that the census is anonymized and it's not going to be used to track you down. We're just trying to find out, population data. Like that's what this is
So
for. It's population data. So yeah,
I can I'm I can just hear the progressives now because I said, well, if you're here illegally, you don't deserve representation, and they're going to be like, so it's just like the slaves then.
oh my god.
And I guess my answer is yes, yes. These people are being treated as slaves because they're not citizens, and you perpetuating that for votes is wrong.
It's true. Like I think it's a pretty, to me, even as a lefty, it's a pretty rock solid argument that if you're actually arguing that they deserve the ability to come here, what you're really saying, in my opinion, is that you're okay with them being taken advantage of, because that's what's going to happen. Like, yeah, okay, they come here and it's like, you're in the land of America, the land of the free. They can't speak English. Okay, so they're not here legally. They have no rights. At least as far as they're concerned, they have no rights. And for the most part, they're right. Because there's a lot of things that they're not going to be able to get access to without identification. So there's that, and the fact that
Well,
if they don't speak English, their opportunities are extremely limited. Because as much as the progressives like to screech about the fact that it's like we need to be more inclusive, yeah, well, most of us don't speak Spanish. That's just the long and short of it. And like, if you want to succeed here, I would love for someone to point out to me someone that's like well known and super wealthy and super successful in America that has lived here for a long time and doesn't speak English. Someone point that person
true.
out to me.
Truth, man. Speaking truth there. Dropping truth bombs.
Like it's just you need you need to be able to speak to the majority. You need to be able to speak to them if you're going to succeed here. Otherwise, you're just going to be taken advantage of. You're going to be
Well, right.
manipulated
Like,
and taken advantage of and be forced to work in shitty conditions that are like, okay, yeah, it's less shitty than what you were used to, maybe. I mean, that's why you're coming here, right? That's why you came back. So I guess it's less shitty than what you were dealing with. So great. But it's still absolute shit, and that's not the standards that we should be enforcing.
well, it's like when in Rome, right? And I don't think if you come here from another country, I don't think you need to give up all your traditions. And I'm fine
No.
if you want to speak another language, but if you want to be successful, and it feels like the progressives and the Democrats, at least on the national level, that are so like their decisions seem to be aimed at keeping these people in this perpetual state of limbo. Like,
Well, they treat them like absolute ignorant idiots. Like, come on, guys. No one else get these excuses made for them. Seriously, where it's like, no, 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 they don't need to learn English. No one's making that excuse for the Chinese immigrants. Nobody's making that excuse for the Indian immigrants. Nobody's making that excuse for Nigerian immigrants. Those guys are all expected to learn English for a very simple reason. You need to know English in this country. It's not the official language, but everyone fucking speaks it. If you know English, you can
but
speak
it
to
might
anyone.
as well be.
Yeah, like if you know English, you can speak to pretty much anyone in this country. Maybe their English sucks too, but at least you can understand each other. For the most part.
Right. You can communicate with the culture.
Yes. Like, I really don't understand why the Hispanics get like this special pass when it comes to speaking English, where it's just like, no, 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 they don't have to learn English. They don't need to learn English. I mean, okay, they don't have to, but if you're not willing to learn the language here, I mean, I'm telling you up front, your time here is going to suck. Like if you're coming here for vacation, do whatever you want. You paid for it. Fuck, go for it. Do whatever you want. That's fine.
Right.
But if you're coming here for work, if you don't speak English, your time here is going to suck giant donkey balls. That's just the long and short of it. It's going to suck. And it's not because everyone else needs to learn Spanish. Like, it's not reasonable for you to walk into someone's neighborhood and demand that they all learn what you know. Like, they didn't do anything. They didn't move to where you are. You moved to where they are. You can't demand that the majority learns something for the minority's sake.
So I work as an auditor for the company I work for, and we make automotive and aerospace parts. I guess we do a lot of trucking parts. And so part of that is being compliant to this international standard. It's meeting all the qualifications.
Sure.
And one of the qualifications that we have that kind of struck me as odd, but I didn't really think about it too much until like just now. But it says that you must have documents in the language that the person understands. And I think they originally, in the previous revision, they were talking about customers. So you must present documents in the language your customers understand.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're working with somebody from Japan, you got to get that shit translated to Japanese or whatever.
Sure.
But now they're applying it to work instructions. So the people running the line and stuff, if they don't understand English, then you have to have work instructions in Spanish to be part of the standard. It's not like you don't have to get this standard, except you have to get this standard pretty much if you want to do business.
Okay. That's
and so
a little strange. Like,
well, we had like a conversation about it because we have Spanish speaking employees, and some of them they speak Spanish all the time to each other, which I'm fine with because
sure,
they know English. When I go talk to them, they can speak English.
Right.
It's not always the best. Or I just go talk to the supervisor whose English isn't perfect, but it's pretty good. And so we had a conversation to where do we need to get, and we're translating some of our work instructions into Spanish.
Okay.
To meet with this. So to me, it seems like that's a way of forcing, because you have to be part of this if you want to be in this business. And to do that, you have to essentially adopt the language of whoever's coming here. Like,
wait, so you need like multiple sets of instructions?
Well, I can't read Spanish, so actually I can read some Spanish, but not everybody can read Spanish, and they can read. A lot of our work instructions have pictures, so it might be kind of a moot point at that point. But
yeah, because that's pretty common in Texas, but we also have a very large Hispanic population.
Well, so does Oregon.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah, we're on the West Coast, so like California and Oregon, and yeah, we just have Hillsboro has a large Hispanic population. It's not so much in the rural areas of Oregon, of the state, but in the more suburban areas. I actually did some work on I went knocking on doors to promote a candidate for the Republican Party who's Hispanic.
Okay.
So I don't know how the Hispanic people are falling these days.
I mean, I think it depends on where you are, honestly. But yeah, I mean, that also raises a question of like, okay, so if you hire one Japanese guy, does that mean that the lines all need Japanese instructions now too? Like for that one guy?
Just the instructions he's going to use.
Okay. I suppose that makes more sense, but I'm still like, but oh my god, it always annoys me when you set up the situation so that the minority gets to like walk into the room and be like, "Hello, majority, accommodate me."
Right, I am your emperor now.
It's so
I'm
fucking
different than you.
It's so arrogant. Yeah, it's annoying. Like, we didn't ask you to come here. You can feel free to fuck off.
Right. If they speak English, then it's fine.
Yeah.
There's
Well, even
some
okay.
employees
Look,
we have whose
no,
English
like
is terrible.
even if they don't speak English, as long as you're not making demands from me, go whatever, dude. Do whatever you want. Not worried. But the second you start being like, excuse me, I don't speak your language, be like, excuse
You
me,
need to print that road sign
fucking learn.
in Spanish.
Like, the second you make it my problem, it's like, no, dude, I didn't ask you to be here. You wanted to be here. Don't make it my problem. And I think that's the way. I think that's the way most people feel, honestly, when it comes to like illegal immigrants, especially, where it's like, as long as you don't make it my problem, okay, we're good. But the second it becomes my problem, we've got a problem. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a problem there.
But anyway, I think we can go ahead and wrap it up.
Yes. So, all right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the show. We will be back next week. Same liberalist time, same liberalist channel.
Every week at Fridays at 9, guys. Every week, Fridays at 9.
Yes.
Like, share, comment, subscribe. Do all your
9
shit.
Central.
Especially the liking and sharing. What?
Well, it's 9 Central time. It's
7
my time.
Oh, yeah. 9 in Texan time.
Right. All right, guys.
We need to stop
definitely
calling it
like
Central.
and
This
share.
should be Texan time. I'm just saying.
Like and share because YouTube and Facebook aren't going to do it for us. So
they fucking suck.
We need you guys, especially subscribe because that'll boost us in the algorithm a bit, I think.
Hell yeah.
So, and comment, even if it's just to say, send us death threats.
That's right. Send us lots of death threats. We're going to punch you in the throat. I'm going to steal that shit right from Philly D. Fuck you, Philly D. It's mine now.
Come at us.
That's
bro.
right. Get something to say about it? Put it on your main channel, Philly D.
If you want to be on the show, we'll put you on.
That's right. I will gladly host a YouTuber that I like and is also like 20 million times my size.
Yeah. All right,
I'm
guys.
fine with that.
Have a good weekend, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Peace.